Allyson Felix. She is the most decorated female track and field athlete in Olympic history. 11 medals, 7 gold. Nobody has done more. She retired 4 years ago. Then she posted 10 slides on Instagram. A comeback announcement, a pitch deck made public. She called it Project 6. What she said next will change what you believe is possible. Before you understand what she is attempting, you need to understand who she is. Allyson Felix was born on November 18, 1985, in Los Angeles, California, the same city that will host the 2028 Olympics. She grew up there. She went to high school there, she fell in love with running there, and for the next 2 decades, she went out into the world and became the best female track and field athlete who ever lived. She won 11 Olympic medals across 5 games, 7 gold, 3 silver, 1 bronze. She won 20 World Championship medals, 14 of them gold. In 2019, at the World Championships in Doha, Qatar, she won her 13th career World Championship gold and broke Usain Bolt's all-time record for most championship golds. The greatest sprinter who ever lived had held that record. Felix broke it as a mother, as a 33-year-old, as a woman who had survived a pregnancy that nearly killed her, +1. Her specialty was the 400 meters. It is the hardest sprint in athletics. It demands speed, strength, and the ability to push through an acid burn in your legs that most humans cannot survive. Felix ran that race at the highest level for nearly 20 years. She also ran relays and the 200 meters, anchoring American teams through some of the most dramatic moments in Olympic history. She trained under Bobby Kersee, one of the most respected coaches in the sport. She was sponsored by Nike for nearly 2 decades. She was the face of American track and field. She was the standard. And then she decided she was done. She walked off the track in Eugene in 2022, relay gold around her neck, and retired. She was 36 years old. At that point, no one questioned it. She had done everything, she had nothing left to prove, or so everyone thought. But the part of Allyson Felix's story that defines her more than any medal happened off the track. In 2018, Felix was at the height of her career when she became pregnant with her daughter Cameron. Her Nike contract had expired the year before, and the 2 sides were negotiating a renewal. When Nike learned she was expecting, the company proposed cutting her pay by 70%. She was one of Nike's most widely marketed athletes in the world, and they offered her a contract that punished her for becoming a mother. She and her brother Wes made the decision to hide her pregnancy. She trained in secret, waking up at 4 in the morning to run in the dark so no one would see her. She wore baggy clothes. She showed up to meets and smiled for cameras while carrying a truth she was afraid to tell. Other female athletes had already lost sponsorship the moment they announced pregnancies. Felix stayed quiet and hoped for the best. Then Cameron arrived early, severely early. Felix developed preeclampsia, a dangerous condition marked by high blood pressure that is more common in black women. She was rushed into an emergency C-section at 32 weeks. She spent the next month in the hospital with her daughter. She described the moment as feeling like an impossible situation. But instead of staying quiet, she wrote. In 2019, she published an op-ed in the New York Times naming Nike and exposing the system. The backlash against Nike was immediate and loud. Congress launched an inquiry. 3 months after her piece ran, Nike announced it would guarantee athlete pay and bonuses for 18 months around pregnancy. The policy changed across the sport. Felix left Nike entirely. She signed with Athleta, which explicitly offered full maternity protections. She built her own women's footwear company, Seish. She founded Always Alpha, a sports management agency built specifically to represent female athletes and give them the protections she never had. She did not just survive the fight. She reshaped the landscape. Then, in Eugene, she crossed the finish line of her final World Championship race. Or so everyone believed. Allyson Felix retired from competition in 2022. She had a daughter, she had businesses, she had advocacy work that mattered to her. She had a full life. But she also had a television. And in the summer of 2024, she sat in the stands at the Paris Olympics and felt something she did not expect. She told Time magazine the experience was mixed. There were moments of joy watching other athletes compete, and then there were moments where she quietly admitted to herself that she missed it. Not the pressure, not the politics, the feeling. That pure physical sensation of racing at the highest level. Before Paris, she had done something meaningful there. She collaborated with Pampers to create the first nursery in Olympic Village history, a space where competing mothers could be with their infants between events. The project was direct proof that the fight she had started in 2019 was still producing results. She built that. She was also serving on the LA28 Organizing Committee Athletes Commission, helping plan the very games that would be held in her hometown. She was at the table. She was building towards something, and somewhere inside that planning, a different idea began to form. Last June, at the Cannes Lions Festival in France, Allyson Felix asked her brother Wes for 20 minutes of his time. This was unusual. They were business partners and siblings. They talked constantly. But this felt different. This felt formal. Wes agreed to the meeting, expecting almost anything except what actually happened. Felix arrived with a pitch deck open on her laptop. The presentation was titled Project 6. She wanted to try to qualify for her 6th Olympic Games in Los Angeles. In 2028, when she will be 42 years old, Wes was stunned. He later told Time, "I felt there was a 0% chance that's what she was going to say. I could have thought of a million things before she said that." Felix announced the comeback publicly in April 2026. She posted a 10-slide Instagram presentation and described what she was chasing. "In a million years, I never thought I'd return," she wrote. "And somehow, here I am, reaching for LA 2028 on my own terms." She called it a live experiment in human potential. She called it a love story with Los Angeles, the city that raised her. She was also clear about what she is not claiming. She told Time, "I know, at 40, I am not at my peak. I have no illusions about that." She is not pretending the clock has not moved. She is asking a different question. What is still possible when you refuse to accept the limits that the world assigns to your age? She pointed to Tom Brady, LeBron James, and Lindsey Vonn as athletes who kept competing at elite levels into their 40s. She wants to find out if a sprinter can do the same. The path to LA 28 is narrow. To make the Olympic team, Felix must finish in the top 3 at trials or earn selection into the relay pool, requiring times few 42-year-olds have approached. Her coach Bobby Kersey returns alongside her. Full training begins in October 2026. She wants to stay close to her children, Cameron and Trey, and expects to return to certified competition in 2027. This is not about money. This is about one specific thing missing from her career. She has never competed at an Olympic Games in her hometown or heard that home country roar. She told Time, "This is a once-in-a-lifetime homecoming, and it is the only thing powerful enough to pull me back." Allyson Felix won her first Olympic medal at 18 in Athens and her last at 35 in Tokyo. Between those moments, she changed American track and field, challenged Nike, testified before Congress, built 2 companies, became a mother twice, and emerged as one of the most important athletes her sport has ever produced. Now 40, she is dropping her kids at school, running SAISH, building Always Alpha, and serving on an Olympic committee. And she is lacing up for a comeback most would call impossible. She agrees it is hard, but adds, "So many of us have been told not to do the big, bold thing. At this age, I should probably be staying home and taking care of my kids. And just, why not? Let's flip it on its head. Let's go after the thing. Let's be vulnerable." That is Project 6. Not a stunt or a farewell lap, but a genuine attempt by the greatest female track athlete who ever lived to prove the world has not seen everything she can do. The question is not whether she deserves to be there, but whether she can get there. Allyson Felix has spent her entire career answering questions exactly like that.